الشيش وشين خاستي يا يجي تكتيوهان نستعتوي حسخ وديق يا لنجد يختنجي شتؤلتو كون كياني سكشوي كختو سا يوي ʻaduwóosʼ كل ʻaduwóosʼ قوة تختهين وتوآخي كياني هستو ساقو ʻaduwóosʼ وتوساي أدوسا شقوة كقوة آق كيك كياني ككيسا نستعتو تلخساوسكو داسا ʻaduwóosʼ يسكوكي كياني
Plant.
كيك ʻaduwóosʼ يساي
Awesome.
Okay. داسا تسو
Yesh kagu.
yeah, أوه
Flesh. Tiny.
Okay.
yeah, أوه التكت يوهانا ʻaduwóosʼ وآخي X'éig كيك كياني قاتل داسا تسو
X'éig.
okay. X'éig شيخ
Don't worry, guys. The party is here.
كيغانا كياني كختوسا
Tea,
Kayaaní.
يكي
tea,
كنتشيش
we us,
أس داشوني وخاي أدخ خاي
Kayaaní.
داسا تسو هستو ساقو
she,
شي
Yan.
ديو تو أخ قوة تكنا آق كاني
hintak.ádi, Kayaaní,
تقوكسا كاسيجي قنش
geesh, no, kelp,
جيش
geesh away,
يا أوه
Yan.
ين يكي
Now.
داو يكي داي
Recording in progress.
أتاغويسي
Oh, wait.
kanata,
Huxley.
كندا يا أوه ts'ats'ée كالتاك ناغو
Shush.
كيشش يكي كوشت ناغو داقياني سا أساي يسكو
What are you making, hon?
What's this?
Oh my God, did you put anything in it?
كياني أكاتي Shaqask. Initiat.
ʼaduwóosʼ. Chicken of the woods. Kayaaní.
Shan gugu.
Got.
Qatl. Astaqatli.
Got.
Kanatsaqatli. Siu shakatsahu. Kayi.
Yana 8.
Yana 8. Yawa. 6.
June.
Ah, 6.
Two.
Taqaqaqun.
6 Shashteen.
16. Wtuwasáa. Okay.
Sluice.
Yawa. Kantak. Ts'ats'ée.
Wasikla nagu.
Okay. Watsichet ghai.
I.
Ghai. Shachk ka'asi. Shachk kaqwatli. Ishkahaku.
Oh, the song.
Llachlu. Dach.
Kinche.
Okay. Khanyel. Yate.
Sock. What? Or socked.
Wtuwasáa. Dasa.
What?
Kolch. Kolch. Okay. What's that?
Kunst.
Kunst. Yawa.
Isk.
Oh, what's that do sago at ts'ats'ée. Yawa.
Sin.
Sin. Okay. Tuk.
Atuk.
That's
Played Kayaaní. Fiddlehead ferns.
Kolch. Kolch.
Quatch.
Wtuwasáa. Shashkwan.
Quatch.
Tasaku kla. Yesiku. 8.
Wtuwasáa.
Yanaka.
Yana 8.
So, I already said it.
Ha. Ye.
Shush.
Kuh.
Conch.
Kunch.
Kachayi.
Shei kuchai. Okay.
Nech. Nech.
Waskan keku. Yadi. Kag. Shingat kaki. What's Saks.
Kunst.
Wtuwasáa. Quants qo'atlall wtuwasáa. Q'ach. Ne. سوق 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 سقتني ديخ سوق
Tan kada sai
تان خدت زاي
kada sai.
okay ناق ستي okay بالتشيش سوق قلت هوج عطلنا يسكو okay
Adis.
تاسا
Adina.
أدي
On Adi.
أدي تاسا
Animals.
oh دخت سيكو أت well
Seku at yudat.
we usually do yeah يدتك كوكسا أتكتو أدي كوك
Gach.
كوكان قخ قاق كيك جنمو
Sig askatu cage.
to your keitli
Guinea gishu.
gishu
Janmu.
Deo
Maybe.
ach
Wasus.
wasus gishu
وتسخ
watsich ye awa
Zisk.
it's
Ah.
sakutla dasa
Alakach.
khashakach tsagidi
Away.
tawe ye awa zisku
General.
Deo to ach dachtahin naskatahin ya ita
Wanna do. Masus.
nusk
Da.
kuch
Nagase.
naqatse ye awa
Hintak.ádi.
itcha ya yidat atki kach ai na nukshiyan
Eek.
دا
I'll take gooch ye awa
Kitch.
hicht hintakat
Kushtaga. Dachnach akwe.
dechi
Anasat.
ye awa ts'ats'ée okay ts'aknoon hintakudzi
Hintakutsi.
ah
Oh, hintakutsi.
Zittahudzi.
تكوجي
judachnacha dasa
تكوجي هذا جوجي هذا
ye yachocha judachnachat
Sacht.
ach
Gia.
yandaqinat
Oh no, take.
at kauti at
Take. Plastiko.
dasat takatatiga hintak adi
Keat.
ha keet
On.
yai sa
Gucci.
On.
On.
Ts'ats'ée.
Knock. Okay.
Nap. Hintak.ádi. Hintak.
Thou.
Das ist
Gatike. Gatike.
Sage.
Gatike.
Go ahead.
Milk.
Ciao.
Cha.
Our fish, hintak.ádi.
Yeah.
Or are we talking animals or?
Hintak. Tashlekach in a ho. So, yeah. Shek.
X'éig.
Cheech.
Kutlakwa.
Zanti.
Knock.
Klug. Teak.
Woosh.
Ishkin.
Yasu
God.
AIDS.
Uncha.
Yay.
Jij deelt toe a gegoji.
Ye yawaka. Yahwaka.
Un. Cheech.
Duncha.
Kan. Sak.
Hintak.ádi.
Deelt toe a cho. Quad.
Hintak yondikin gar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deelt toe a. Ja. Yak.
Oh.
Dutch.
Duke. Shaw. Shaw.
Dutch.
What's that do, Sak? Daryl Hannock. Dakasa. Eat katsao. Eat katuchu. Sak. Yeah. Tuk. Iksha. Tuk. Knees. Tai. That's it.
Yain.
Yain. Yeah.
Wait. Yacht.
Okay. Kachike.
Knock.
Katu. Utlechwa. Okay. Cheech. Deu to ach.
What's ayaduka? X'éig.
Deu to ach. Shek.
Oh. Ow.
Deu to ach. At kauta yiji at. Gook.
Sienna.
Kauta yiji at. Yale.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
Gajuk.
Ts'ats'ée. Tsisk.
Yuq. Qanuk.
kagéidi.
Gach.
X'éig.
Tisk.
Kunayi.
Talk.
Ts'ats'ée.
X'éig.
Dasa.
X'éig.
Shukan.
Kayaaní.
Sedaqita.
X'éig.
Hintak.ádi. Kayaaní.
Good.
Llach. Dúll.
Kayaaní.
X'éig.
kagéidi.
Hintak.ádi.
Oh, hintak.ádi.
Kristen ʼaduwóosʼ.
Kayaaní.
wtuwasáa. Kayaaní.
Dag.
Shayal. Sis.
Pachwell.
Ts'ats'ée.
Pachwell.
Guk. Guk.
Dukt'ootlʼ.
Coon.
Yeowa. Ganda de gugu. Shakir'an. Shur. Qatuwóosʼ.
X'éig.
Wtuwasáa. Kunayi.
Kayaaní.
Dasa.
Kayaaní.
X'éig. Echojian Kate.
Yonda kin kagéidi. Yonda kin gishu.
Kagéidi ton.
Ah,
Shashchao.
Lugan.
Wtuwasáa.
Gundas Aji.
Heen. Heen. Ikusha. Katretsuko. Ukecha, Johan. Asaya yidetko. Uchige. Dukt'ootlʼ. Shukwaya ʼaduwóosʼ yijibu. Okay, any questions? Anything that you didn't recognize through that whole time?
Not.
A couple?
I learned how.
oh yeah. What was like tai or dai? There was something that was repeated.
Tai. That's sea anemone.
Oh.
Anemone. Tai.
Quanlaine, yeah, I yawakau Kagéidi ton.
Bat.
Ah,
Born from the umbilical cord of a beaver. Kagéidi is the full length name.
And kagéidi is related to seek.
Yeah, it sounds like ts'ats'ée ye ati. thing below the black bear. So it's a double compound, I guess, is what it sounds like. Okay. Wish we had like AI or something that could make a big list. Well, I guess someone could listen to the class and make a list and send it. Make a list and send it our way. We'll just check it out and see. Okay, it was fun. Sheesh. It's been a while since we've done anything like that, so I thought. I tried it last night too, and so all the commands in Tlingit, and so tells me I need to go over commands a little bit more with everybody. That's a,
Kagishawu Duhu in the back has a thematic lexicon. It's pretty good. It's not complete, but very useful.
okay. Yeah, the interior noun dictionary does as well.
There's an article published by Thornton of the birds in Southeast Alaska with the names.
Oh, we didn't do kach. They're one of my.
Grouse has a great list.
Oh, grouse. I said grouse. List mode. Okay. Okay. Yeah, he does. There's a video of George Davis who was teaching Tlingit to John Hanlon. He's like, we'll just name all the birds and we're going to name all the animals. And he did a whole bunch of them. He just made this big, huge list.
You know, we've never done insects or bugs.
Yeah, I guess we should.
I've been learning from you.
That'll be short. But I guess, you know, there's spider. Gutu.ádi is a catch-all for any kind of crawling insect as well.
They're important parts of our, ecosystem.
Yeah.
Give them a little love.
Okay.
Not that I can name like any of them.
Watch a bug's life. Name everything.
Wanatich.
Talk.
Aka. Kashashchao. Askatuyiksha, I think is a spider. Okay.
Beetle, isn't it? I think it's beetle.
It might be that too, yeah. Good cheesh. Any questions you folks have been thinking about?
Where'd the conjugator go?
Conjugator has been updated.
Yes, I saw.
Yagii.
Yechedi.
Ganesh. I was going over the other day, rainbow, and I was wondering if you happen to know the background or meaning of why the rainbow is called what it is. I mean, there seems like there must be some story about how the name for rainbow came about, and I was wondering if you happen to know that.
I've never heard, like I know we've got, there was a translation we kind of landed on. Does anybody remember what that was? Something like wings of all colors or something?
Sounds like Benetton.
I found it in one of the dictionaries.
Kitch anagat. Was kitch sure sounds like next to the wing? Like when you have kitch on. Oh, let's check the verb dictionary. Maybe there's something in there.
So in the dictionary, it says at the wing that is at a rafter, is at the rafter, but I didn't quite understand what that referred to or how it could refer to at the wing that is a rafter. I don't know.
Yeah, well, so like got is a rafter, right? So there is like, so with some of these things, like we can look at what the different parts of the word are. And so like if you look at got, and when there's a question mark, you know, it's like maybe this is something else. And then you have kitsch, and then ayanagat. So kitsch ayanagat is what it sounds, you know, and then it gets put together in these different, get compound in different ways. A kagéidi is a rafter, and so that's a kind of just a guess, like in terms of what it could be. And where did I got something from somewhere about something of different colors. Where did I see that?
And that's like a rafter of a house or a building?
Yeah.
I have a suggestion.
Oh,
If you are in a building and there's no roof, or you look up, you see the rafters in a row, one right after the other, a bit like bands of the bands of color and rainbow.
oh yeah. Right?
Oh, that was
I mean, it's in the Duck story, but it just says, "Ikena awe you ate kitche nakat yachyeti." Like something was up there and it looked like a rainbow. It was like a rainbow. Yeah, there's a couple of great sample sentences in the Edwards dictionary. There aren't any stories about rainbows is one, and like, oh, there's another one. It's like there's some kind of water animal called a rat on the bay or something like that. What is that thing? A kayaaní or something. And the sample sentence is, I don't know anything about that, and then they name the thing. Okay, yeah, goodness sheesh. I'll check my notes too. I know I found something somewhere, but now I can't seem to find. Might have been in De Laguna. So another place, sometimes I'll look at Lear's stem notes or his stem list here. So if we go look for got, see kagéidi, rafters, kitsch, yanagat. So it's there, but there's no like real, there's no notes on it, right? What about, and have you folks spent much time with this? Like it's not, someday I think we're gonna retype this thing. It's gonna be a big project, but we're gonna sort of, it's got a lot of Tlingit in it, but it's spelled in like a way that we don't spell it anymore. And so, and it's like a 3-volume, 900-page thing. And it's, if you buy the originals, they're probably like $400 or $500, but it has been reprinted. There's copies in the library, and you can get, there's a PDF version of all 3 volumes. This was a very helpful document in translating some of the Raven stories. We were particularly stuck on Frank Italio and Frank Dick, and they're both from Yakutat, and this was all recorded in Yakutat. And what was wild is we've got versions of Frank Italio's stories recorded in the 50s, when he's probably in his 80s or 90s. And then we had versions of Frank Dick recorded in the 80s, when he was probably in his 80s. And they're 50 years apart in terms of their own age, and probably 30 years apart in recording or so. But they're almost identical. It was really wild. It was really, really cool.
You mean the two stories told by two people 50 years apart?
Yeah,
Almost identical?
yeah. See, there's nothing in here. There's nothing in this whole volume, I think, about a rainbow, so. I'll have to see where I found that. Whoops. I just closed everything.
So do you have a page showing the type of alphabet and notation that those were written in?
Yeah, I think the text I would sort of guide folks towards maybe is if you go to the Tlingit curriculum folder, like all these are in there. And so I don't know if you folks have seen or spent much time with this one. So this one was Emmons, and then De Laguna edited the book and added to it. And I think in the early part of this book, there's kind of a list. So it shows how these things, so you'll see like a X apostrophe with a little tiny W, so that's a X apostrophe W. So I do think somewhere I had retyped this thing up, and so it is here. And so they usually can capture some of the sounds pretty well, because if you just went back in time and talked to Emmons, like he could probably speak Tlingit pretty well, and De Laguna could probably speak Tlingit pretty well. And so I'm sure there are things that they missed, but just in terms of like being able to look at what they wrote, so for example, if we go back to De Laguna, and let me just get deep in here. And so she even talks early on about the different sounds in Tlingit. And so there is this ng sound. So this is our Y with the tilde over it. This Q is the underlined K. This is the underlined G. And so you can go through and sort of talk and kind of reverse engineer it, but I do think it'd be great to have a version that just has Tlingit as we write it today. Okay. Let's look at Dukt'ootlʼ. So I think we left off, finished page 1. This gets us to page 2. And can somebody read this? Oh, I guess it technically starts up
Hina age awetle hinde ana atch.
Okay. There's a lot of fun stuff in this one. So, kagéidi. What do you folks think of that?
I think there's just not Hina Ij daybreak,
Yeah.
not
So,
daybreak.
wtuwasáa, kayaaní. This is that same verb. Kayaaní. So now we know this is a southern version. So it's a P na H. And what would P na H be, or K na H?
Sunrise?
It would be, but Kayaaní would be So like these are, it's a verb, so we're kind of moving around. So what would kayaaní? The sun rose. The day broke, however we want to
Uh-huh.
say it.
Yeah, tsuha kawa.
So what, and then we could say,
But it's not then.
we're getting there.
Okay.
Does anyone want to tell me how I would say the sun will rise?
No, wait.
Keuchich. No. Keakquachich.
Well, okay, well, you're switching, okay, so let's say the day will break. It will dawn. Using this same verb. Ke- kekwa'a. Because you are right, Shanaqait, you could say, Kinde yakwahih, the sun will rise. It's another way to say it. But this is specifically about like the day breaking. The dawn, it will dawn. I don't know. So what do we get with Kina H or Kina H?
The sun always rises.
Always rises, okay.
Writer?
Hemingway.
Okay. Oh, we said it first, Hemingway. So what happens if I put clash in front of it?
So the sun hadn't yet risen.
So he's still in his underwear writing his book, I guess. That's how I guess I heard this, how he wrote. I don't know.
That's called a potential.
No, it's called a negative habitual,
Negative habitual.
which is probably why we need to adjust the name. It's the hasn't happened yet. And again, this comes back to like, we can't look for how it would work in English for creating meaning. We just say it's all about pattern building and Tlingit. Tlingit's just like, we don't care about what those things, put them in this order, and now you got this kind of thing. So then when you go, chush, so now your klesh contracts to the letter O. Kayaaní. This is one extra step, and it's very similar.
The age is like a conditional.
No, it's putting an I on the end, which changes the CH to a J. So it's the ch and the letter I at the end always create, so if you have a habitual, and then you put chush and I at the end, you end up with before the sun rose. You could do that for any verb. TG, before it became that way. TG, before I was born. Khan Qinigi, before now. Khan Qinigi, before you told me. Before I ate it.
The other ha.
So before is chus.
Well, chush, and then it has to be in this habitual form, this negative, you end up with this habitual form. Yeah, chush. Okay.
So it means just not yet.
Yes. Chushwasaji, I think.
You have to have the clash too.
I might go shaiji.
Oh, okay.
Before I got married.
Oh.
So we were talking about the pattern that you were just talking about.
Mhm.
We have a question. So the ch and the I means when you have those two bookending a verb, it means before. But it has to be in the Negative
Yes.
habitual, so it
Yes.
has to have like a kef or something.
So the way I've been trying to think about these things is the habitual is the primary form. From the habitual, you could form the haven't happened yet and the before it happened.
Okay.
Mm.
And I'm really trying to figure out how to explain that in a straightforward way. And that's what the conjugator tries to do. Just to say, like, don't, like, instead of focusing on what these individual parts are and what they do, but you just have to say these ones have to be activated. So to get the habitual, you need to have the conjugation prefix
Mm.
and then the ch at the end. It's going to be a -I classifier. If it's a zero conjugation, you'll get the perfecto, you'll get the irialis. That's how a habitual works. Yishkaku.
I've been looking for a word that means before, and you just explained that there isn't a word that means before, there's a construction that gets you there.
Yeah. Now you could say shukut, but
Mhm.
it's, I think it's limited. Because I could say, yan yicha ach shukut. You finished eating before I did. And then you could sequence things. You could say, before you do this, you have to do that. But just to do a straight, like, before this,
Mhm.
this is probably your best way.
Mhm.
Like, I heard, because it was fun. Like, there's this really neat thing that happens with Shenge. And maybe it happens with other indigenous languages, whereas you learn something, then you start sort of hearing it and seeing it.
Mhm.
And a linguist tried to be too practical and pragmatic and say, oh, you're just tuned into it now. And it's been there the whole time. Like, no, the ancestors put it in my path. And so, yeah, like you'll see this quite a bit in storytelling. So before the sun comes up, and then verbi, yeah, that's right,
Verby.
verbi. Would it be verbchi? Because you got to have that ch, and it's going to turn into a j all the time.
Somebody programmed a Furby that only did verb conjugation.
Hey, if I put a day on the end of a verb, can that turn it into before as well? So I'm just trying to think of an example here. Deslin wutukukude before we drove to Teslin. Does that work or not?
I don't think I've heard it going that for me, like when you could put day before, and usually if you say like ʼaduwóosʼ, we already heard it. But it seems like it's doing something a little different. That's how I
Okay,
picture that one working. So it usually
sure.
is like dejosaku. Someone once told me when I tried to explain something I thought was very cool. I said dejosaku. It's like fine, I enjoyed talking about it. So, but and so usually that comes up before, and that's a similar concept though, because I think you could say deslin de awe de we had already driven to Teslin. And so that's how, and then there's another one, desquatch, which is very similar, but I don't fully understand how those ones, even those real old stories, they desquatch all the time. And I think it's a similar type of thing. I was trying to tease out the difference between those two. I don't think I figured it out just yet.
Ganstish.
Oh,
Is Desquatch already?
I think it is already. And so, but I think they're very close to being the same thing. Another thing that's kind of like in this realm, I guess I'm gonna move all these to the notes.
Sheesh.
We might have extended notes this time. I don't know. Where was I? Okay. So let me just do this thing in the note. So
I spell that.
like ʼaduwóosʼ. We were doing. It's my favorite thing to say when we do that other game.
No,
We
really.
already heard it.
I think that's the one thing I I learned from that exercise.
And then here's another one. I have a theory about it. So if you say if you say, let's say ʼaduwóosʼ. Okay, so if we say ts'ats'ée, ʼaduwóosʼ, and ʼaduwóosʼ, Yesu. I think these are slightly different things. What do you folks think is what do you think these are, and what do you think the differences might be? If you don't know, it's fine.
Finally, it was caught.
For finally, we have two options. We could say sat hu yeqa awashat, or for from Dísi, we could say dechwa awashat. Both of those would be at long last or finally. They grabbed it, or ʼaduwóosʼ, sorry. Skaidu.
Couldn't it be just that they grabbed it? Or it grabbed it?
You're breaking up a little bit. Try it one more time.
Just that they grabbed it? Or it
Yes. Well, yeah. So Yesu ʼaduwóosʼ, they just now grabbed it. And what about ʼaduwóosʼ Yesu?
They still got a hold on it.
That's right. So that's another one where, like, which side does it go on? So the day part, I think of the day, it tends, what I see, and I could be wrong, these are getting into some, we're going really hintak.ádi with this one. So wtuwasáa is like it already happened, but if you put the command, if you use a command, right? So if you say, kagéidi, now you're saying, eat it right now. And it doesn't work, it doesn't sound great for all of them, but I could say, get away from it right now. Not today, right? And every kid since post-contact has turned that into a not today joke. It's nothing new. It's a 100-year-old joke.
As I was just about to make it.
Okay. This sentence is aces. This one is really good. Skaidu, did you have something else, or is your hand just still up?
no, I just forgot.
Okay. Before the sun rose, kayaaní ana ʼaduwóosʼ. Two more fun things going on here.
They would go to the water.
Yes, okay. And then before the sun
Always.
rose, then. And how is
They
the
would
day working here?
just.
Okay, well, we got hintak, let's say to the water.
Mhm.
Tell me about
And-
this verb. Now we got ʼaduwóosʼ, which is habitual. You can recognize that, right? Always. But who? Who's going in the water?
Them.
People.
If I wanted, I would say has ʼaduwóosʼ would be they all. That would be a third person plural, and that's not what we're looking at here.
Mhm.
Okay, how does ka or ku becomes a?
Yes. So, in some motion verbs, and some other verbs, right? So, for example, you could say wtuwasáa. I think that's how it is. Is that how it goes? Yisikuke? Yisikuke, yeah, verb.
Hey,
Let's go check my work. It says my theory that I'm proposing is that I actually know what I'm talking about.
That's our theory.
We will
Let's
test
look.
this theory by looking it up. Okay, hold on. I gotta close. Too many things. Okay. What is this? Okay. I might not know what I'm doing. Okay. Here we go. We're looking for x'éig.
Chosakue.
Isakuga?
Gotcha.
Was I correct?
I'm not sure. This is the plural one, huh?
Well, you were supposed to say yes. You're supposed to say, I believe so. I have faith. Kayaaní. That was your line. Okay, I think I got
I dropped my line. Line?
Okay. So it should be long and high. So I did mess up the stem, and I'm sorry. Okay, haswu x'éig. They slept. Okay. And let's just say they're sleeping right now. Has x'éig. Maybe that's what I was thinking. I'll just pretend. Okay. So here we have has x'éig, right? Plural form of sleeping. They are sleeping. We could say we are sleeping. And what would that look like? So subject pronoun.
Okay.
Okay.
What about y'all are sleeping?
Yeesh.
Yee.
Well, in this case, yeah. What would this be?
People are sleeping.
Someone.
Yeah. So the fourth person human is de, but sometimes it's a. Right? So you could say ade wugut, ade huagut, ade yigut, and awagut. Just to make it bonkers.
Is there a reason for it? Is there like a triggering? Or is it just sometimes it is?
It's certain motion verbs and then sleeping.
So
Pretty solid on this one. No, yeah, it's
not pattern or.
it's mostly do. Every once in a while, something kicks it to and it's an unusual situation.
Okay.
It's mostly motion verbs.
Motion plus sleep.
And so that's why when you come back to this, that's why it's like a gem of a sentence. There's one sentence we spent 20 minutes on. Before the day would break, then the people always went to the water. How about a reader for this one? ʻaduwóosʼ loves habituals.
Wtuwasáa shuka.
Shukagutch, yeah. So this tells you, like, okay, any ideas on the the translation's over here, but what did you folks find out just looking at this thing? There's a lot. There's a lot to ask you to look at these. This is the deepest level of stuff that there is, so.
Wtuwasáa, we're going to talk about the uncle now.
Right, because we already talked about this guy. This is Dukt'ootlʼ, his uncle, right? What about Yaka Shukagutch?
Is yaka a way of like referring back to the uncle that was just mentioned?
Well, once we
Ya in front.
this whole thing is a verb.
Oh, okay.
So ya is just locked into this verb. It's built in.
Okay, so
Oh, in front?
here.
Wait, what?
So cause functioning as a pronoun here, not saying what.
I think you
In
could
front, going in front, so to lead.
yes.
Mhm.
So this would be to lead, like lead the way. Lead me there. You go, I'll follow you. Right? So that is the verb. So you have ya shuagut or ya shuagut. Because in the habitual, this tells you it's a g conjugation. Because it pops up. That's the only reason it could pop up. His uncle always led people. And this could mean metaphorically. This could mean like you're a leader of the people. But in this context, I would always think he's the first one to go in. He would take them down. He would take those people down to the water. Any questions about that?
I think when I looked in the verb dictionary, the perfective habitual is ya plus shu and then subject, gut. And in this place, the ka is in there after the ya.
That's the object.
Ya ka. Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, if we sort of took this and we say, okay, I want to figure out how this is working. So if ya plus ka, that's the object pronoun for people. Sh, ga, subject.
Oh,
ka,
wait. Oh, okay.
Root, habitual marker.
Okay.
Yeah. So you do have the subject there. It's just it's third person. So if you wanted to say, I always lead the people. Bragger. Ya pa shikach gutich.
So is the root gut?
The root is good.
Good.
Just walking, right? But you have sh in front of it. So you could, now we know, you could say, Yaha shukak, lead the way, sunny boy.
Yeah, Shugaguch.
What's that?
They always lead the children.
A yetki.
Yucky.
Well, if it's a singular there, yes.
Yeah, singular.
We yetki. Yahas shukagutich.
I have a phrase for this practice.
Or you could say Yas shukagutich. If you're trying to be all high fluency.
So is ka here man or on?
People. Like I think you could say yakushikagutich, but I think it probably gets too long. Like the prefix just gets too long, so it kicks out to ka. It's people. It's like ka yake. People are good.
So here, people ahead.
Well, it's
verb.
It's more like just the end of it. You end up with just the end of it, right? But that sh is really an interesting thing. And so,
Isn't it Kayaaní, in that speech to the clan leaders, she says, Yaha shuna gutu.ádi han.
you're the ones who are leading us. And she balls them out. Yep. I had to dig that recording out because yeah, I was like, I wonder how you like really give people the business and thing it.
It's a good one too. Yeah.
She was very respectful but emotional, and yeah, it was heavy. And then if there's multiple people leading, so this is one person who's doing the leading, but if there's a group, then that can switch to ot. Okay.
Oh, the verb root changes.
Verb root. Yep, just like gutu.ádi. Gutu.ádi.
Renee. So whether the verb is singular or plural refers to the person who's leading, not the people who are being led.
Absolutely. Okay. Next line down. Cruising along. Well on our way.
Suguyach kayayak du achji nuch hinde ya ana adi.
Sheesh. Okay. What do we have?
Joy?
Joy.
Be like,
People?
Kayaaní is one thing.
from people,
Not quite.
They can hear
from
people's voices.
Yes, but the yik part is sort of
from inside.
No
It's-
people.
not that kind of yik.
It's not.
Mm.
Oh
How does it-
Almost nobody.
no.
Mm.
I
Yeah,
thought it
you
was
do.
yik, that's what I thought.
I thought yik meant it's
or-
almost gone.
Or into the water.
Sounds.
Oh,
It's
Oh.
yik. It's not yik. It's yik. The yik changes because there are two yik on its own. There's a whole other one that's like yik number 1 and yik number 2. Not
Oh, yeah, yes.
right? There's a bow on the present. There's my cousin bow. There's a bow and arrow. It's all fine. So yayik is the sound of something. You could also say kayik, and you could say yik. So in this case, when you say kayayik, what you're saying is the sound of people.
Can you say tuyek?
The sound of a nose. Yeah. And there's a verb for blowing your nose really loud.
Yeah. Yeah, I might look that up.
Dukt'ootlʼ.
A portal just opened. I just got it.
Thought you were translating there for a second. I was like, where's all of that?
Yeah.
Ach is for hearing, so
Yeah.
is always heard.
Yeah. And this dukt'ootlʼ, like we hear it a lot as wtuwasáa or dukt'ootlʼ or dukt'ootlʼ sometimes I think. It's really interesting because this is one worth going to. I think it's in Nation Story when they describe this one. Okay. I think it's under here.
Mhm.
So they say dukt'ootlʼ. So it is heard. But like this is a really important point right here. This is also means for something to make a noise. The frogs are croaking. Right? Like you don't need a different sound verb for everything that makes a different sound, a klinket. Dukt'ootlʼ, the grouse is drumming. Dukt'ootlʼ, the cow is mooing. They're doing what people can hear what the thing is doing. And we sort of know what it's doing.
There was a question that one of the intermediate students had was, what would it be? I think it.
Cat is meowing.
so I'm thinking it's like for my English brain to say, oh, it's hearable.
Yeah.
I can
Well, it's
hear
also-
it.
it's
It's
like-
a hearable thing.
And it's really interesting because dukt'ootlʼ could mean it's making a sound. People can hear it. That's really what it means. At its core, it means people can hear it. It doesn't mean it was heard. It just means people can hear it. Like so, when you say, that's not did you hear me? It's are you able to hear me? You got a bad connection on the Zoom call. We love you, Zoom. You're doing okay.
Let's not talk about trees in the forest
Right. Yeah.
falling.
And that's but dukt'ootlʼ was got to be someone there, I guess. Okay.
How would we spell that? Idat? Dukt'ootlʼ.
Dukt'ootlʼ.
Would we still? Pinashish.
I'll put it in the notes because yeah, this is an important one to be able to,
I'm gonna
because you
use
can
it.
say this too.
Ooh.
You're going to end up with a what question, I think. How would we translate this?
What can be heard? Or what is that sound? Ah,
But not,
ʼaduwóosʼ is like a noun now. So a nounish thing in our English brain.
Right? How is it people can hear it? Like it's just,
I wanted that to be like, what is making that sound?
that could be fun.
But it's the hearing part that is, the part is the hearing.
It's how is that heard?
Yeah.
Because I often want to know what's making that sound, not what is that sound.
Yeah, and you could, if you're really not sure, you could do one of these ones. And now it's become very mysterious, like it's a dark, like, you know. One time my brother and I, we left a dog leash and we went back to get it. We walked down this very long trail and we heard this tree start creaking, and the trees were, it's kind of windy and the trees were making ʼaduwóosʼ, as they do, but then it was like this creaking, and then it just kept creaking and wouldn't stop. It went for so long that we just ran back up the hill. So this, yeah, let's take a look at this for a second, because I was in a Zoom call just the other day, and we're talking about some of the differences between, when we get into these verbs, these verbs, there's a lot happening, and they're very subtle differences. So we'll go up to scrolling. So here we go. So this is to hear something. So you'd say right? So this is an event verb. So you get it in the perfective. If it happened, it's going to be in the perfective. And that's to say, I heard something, we heard something, we heard it, you know, whatever the thing is. And it's a noise. It's not a voice. It's not someone talking. It's not someone singing. But then if we go down and if we look, there's like that's the imperfective. You could do so look at that. It's long there, right? So just keep that in mind. Like what to say, I always hear it.
So I can tell mom that.
But then we have which is invariable, and this means to be able to hear something. Dukt'ootlʼ. This is an imperfective of this particular verb. Weird, it's a state verb. Okay, fine, okay. I just accept it. Right? And so now you have it when you say I am able to hear it. That's not I hear it all the time, I hear it repeatedly. That means, yeah, I'm able to hear it, right? Like, can you hear that sound? Can you hear the high-pitched beeping noise? Like some people, that high-pitched sound is one of the first ones to go. And so if you look at this, you can get into, there is no habitual form of this. There is no repetitive form of this, right? But this is the one, you only hear the bad talk. Is that directed at me? I feel like I need to call my therapist. No, I'm just kidding. It's always heard. What's that last part?
Towards the water. Hinde.
They go.
It's a little bit. They are going, but for my suggestion is for they, keep that with the third person singular. Cue the balloons. Well, we want the fourth person.
People go? Is
Now,
that another?
but let's try and get this verb accurate to what we were seeing here. ʼaduwóosʼ. There's a couple things in there that's different than they were going or people were going.
Hindi ya. To the water?
It's all about,
Is it a conditional?
it's not, it's a subordinate imperfect.
Yeah, okay. There's cheese.
So when people are going to the water. That's what it's from. So ʼaduwóosʼ. That's gotta be progressive, right? So what did I say? It's a progressive subordinate. Which you can use this. You could do that. You could say ʼaduwóosʼ guti. Like you could say that. I'm happy they're on their way here. They're in the process of doing it now. So when you do these subordinates, you could throw them on, I don't know, a lot of different perfective. You could throw it on future. You could throw it on different things.
So what's the ya part doing?
It's part of the progressive.
Okay. Okay.
Yantu'at. Ya'ana'at.
Okay. All right.
Like ya'na. You got to have it all, unless it's ga or qa, then you'll get kena or yena.
Okay. Okay.
So does the I just mean simply when?
When or that. That's how I like to translate it. It's good that you
Well, then why isn't it ana adin or ana adni
Well, that would be
for if and when.
You wouldn't have ya. You would have na'atni whenever people go to the water. Which you could, but the thing about this verb is the main focus is on the sound, the joyous sounds of people are always heard. That's the important part. So that gets the nuch part right here, and then hindi yana'ati. Just a straight, the subordinative is more like when or that this thing was happening. The conditional is more like whenever this thing happens, there's this other thing. So if every single time people went to the water, they were making joyous noises, this is more like, it's a fine line, I guess, in meaning.
Gonna cheese.
So the nooch is more about the joyous sounds.
Yeah, it's always heard.
Okay.
Always heard.
Achi nooch. You achi nooch. Okay.
Should we do one more? Or are we done?
One more.
Yeah, we got another minute.
Someone read it.
Awe hutuwasáa ya utkayich awe chagut hini uwagut.
Sheesh. What is that talking about?
Behold him, however.
Him, however.
Klesh.
No.
Kayaaní. X'éig.
No one.
Yes, no one.
Oh.
Like this, so this whole thing is a verb, not a habitual marker, but an ergative marker. So this verb being this way is causing the next thing to happen. Even though it's the same CH, I get it. Frustrating.
And
I've
it has
called the suffix departments. They're not.
They
And a
wouldn't
verb.
come and get it.
Who's doing it? Kachka. H.
Room or
Oh, like, okay. This is a Kagéidi story. Evelyn Hodge. She's talking in Tlingit to Marcia Hodge about how she would go into the schools to teach Tlingit, and she brought ink in for them to try. And they said, and she said, "Guk kana'ak," and they said, "Wa'eh kana'ak," and she said, "Wa'eh shuhwa." And I was like, "Oh, that's how you say that." So she's like, "Go ahead, try it," and they said, "You try it." These little kids, and she said, "You do it first." Wa'eh shuhwa. The elder says that means you're doing it.
I think I need that in the notes, please.
Oh, yeah, wa'eh shuhwa. It
Machine.
was so fun.
Oof.
Okay. If you're feeling overwhelmed, we're covering a lot of stuff, but it's absorbing. This is full language stuff. Kayaaní. So does anyone recognize this verb? I think I saw it in the chat. A is what we're looking for. We're going down. That's our verb.
Oh.
To admire, to respect, to think highly of. This is a wonderful verb to know. So you'd say, "Ach ya X'éig," I admire you. Hastu ya hastu no. Ha ya hasl'a'é. We admire them.
I was looking for ye. I thought K was just good, and then ye was a whole nother verb root. So that's why I couldn't find it.
Kayaaní. It's because no one respected him.
There's a because in there.
You're saying something like this. In this story, everybody treats him really bad. All the other men in the village.
Where do we get the because?
CH.
Okay.
So when we can put ergative markers onto verbs and to say that verb is causing this other verb to happen.
Okay, so it's not who's doing it, it's like a way of saying because.
Sometimes it's like kind of a causation thing. Yeah.
Okay, goodness sheesh.
Wait, A.
Which is, there's probably a whole argument here about like this is the verb turning into a noun and then the noun getting an ergative marker and saying it's causing this other thing to happen. But it's 7:03, so we can't figure it out. Chakutini wtuwasáa.
Gutu.ádi.
Chakut, yeah.
A different thing.
Yeah. Chakut becomes one thing, yeah. Chakutini.
Water.
Different water.
He went. He goes. Oof. I think it would be good to look at the respect verb again when we're got more time. It's so complicated.
Yekwati. Oh, I was gonna have you guys do something. I had some neat puzzle. I'll have to remember it.
Just maybe a quick one, Kayaaní. Why does ka flatten out there in that verb?
For this one,
Yeah.
it's the relational. So you'd say, for example, that would be ach ya. So you say,
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, okay.
because I don't admire him, blah, 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 right? So yeah, ka is like ka ta. Peoples. This ya part, this high tone ya, has to do with intellect.
What? Okay, I agree with whoever just said that we need to dive into that more.
Mm-hmm. It's
Atade ha kagadu kak. We're going to swim down into it.
hmm.
Plural swimming gets an object pronoun and a phrase. Good night.
Cheese.
Ach ja.
We'll get our snorkels ready.
Ach ja, yitleke. Yakwe yitzike yuhan. Yakikidok.
And cheese.
It was
Yeah,
really
cheese away.
Sheesh.
Goodness, geez.
Goodness, cheese.
Sheesh.